My daughter baked cookies for everyone at Christmas. No one touched them. My mom said they looked store-bought. We just left. The next morning, my credit card they had access to was blocked. My daughter spent 2 days baking cookies for people who never really saw her as family. She printed recipes, made tiny name tags for each person, and even practiced how she'd present them. She's 11, and all she wanted was to be part of something we were never really welcomed into. Christmas at my parents' house has always been a performance. My sister gets the spotlight. Her boys run wild while everyone smiles like it's charming. And my dad carves the turkey like he's auditioning for a Norman Rockwell painting. Laya and I sit at the edge of it all, like guests who weren't supposed to show up. This year, Laya wanted to bring something of her own. Her cookies. 6 kinds. Every one of them perfect. We walked into their house with our little box and a side dish. My mom barely looked up. My dad was in the garage showing off a new drill. Stephanie waved from the couch. No one offered to help. No one even said hi to Leia. She set the box down near the other food. Her tags were still attached. Little loops of ribbon with names like Grandpa and Aunt Steph written in glitter pen. An hour passed. The box stayed untouched. Finally, my mom walked past it, looked inside, and said it. These look store-bought. She didn't even look at Leia when she said it. Just moved on, laughing about something Stephanie said. No one touched a single cookie. We left before dessert. I didn't make a scene. I helped Leia grab our coats, kissed her on the forehead, and told her we'd stop for ice cream on the way home. The only thing I said on the way out was, "Merry Christmas." She didn't cry until we got home. And the next morning, my credit card was blocked. I hadn't used it since last week, but I forgot it was still linked to an old Amazon account, one I used years ago when I lived with Brad and sent gifts to my parents' house. Someone had bought over $300 worth of random garbage. Toys, kitchen gadgets, a sweater in a size I've never worn. I stared at the screen while Laya made tea in the kitchen, her eyes still puffy. They stole from me after everything. After mocking my kid and ignoring her effort, they used my name to do it. I didn't call them, but I was done playing family. I didn't say anything that morning. Not to Leia, not to the bank, not even to Stephanie. I disputed the charges quietly, locked the account, and let the refund process begin. But I didn't cancel the card right away. I wanted to see how far they'd go. A few days later, a package showed up at my old address, my parents' house. Amazon's notification system never fails. It was a waffle maker and some overpriced body lotion. I let it ship. I waited, and I let them believe I hadn't noticed. Meanwhile, I started collecting every little thread I could pull. I logged into the Amazon account and checked the order history. They weren't even careful. Orders were placed in the middle of Christmas dinner. 2 of the items had "Gift for Mom" written in the notes. Another was a board game Stephanie had been talking about at the table. They thought I was still that girl from 5 years ago, the one who apologized every time Brad disappeared for a weekend. Who said thank you when they threw backhanded compliments? Who sat through their smug silences and let them act like raising Laya without a father was something I should be ashamed of? They forgot who I am now. I run digital marketing campaigns for a cybersecurity firm, and I document everything. Every order, every timestamp, every shared login. I printed it all. Screenshots, delivery notifications, the saved browser history from when I briefly borrowed Stephanie's laptop at Thanksgiving. It was all there. Then I waited. The first call came from my mom 4 days later. She was confused because her Amazon orders weren't arriving anymore. Then Stephanie texted asking if I'd accidentally logged out of the shared Prime. That was rich. I didn't respond. New Year's passed. I didn't reach out. I didn't thank them for the earrings they never sent. I didn't ask if they wanted to reschedule Christmas brunch. And then something beautiful happened. They showed up at my house. Laya was at school. I opened the door to find my mom and dad standing there like they were bringing me bad news from a neighbor's house. My dad asked if they could come in. I let them sit in the living room. My mom didn't waste time. She said they felt hurt, that I'd left Christmas so suddenly, that I misunderstood the cookie comment, that they had no idea the credit card was still active. She called it a simple mistake. I didn't say a word for a full minute. Then I brought out the folder. Paperwork, screenshots, everything. I placed it on the coffee table and let them look. My mom reached for it like it might bite her. I told them it wasn't a misunderstanding. It was theft. It was contempt. And it was 11 years of little slights and subtle digs and pretending like Laya wasn't just as much their grandchild as Stephanie's boys. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't cry. I just told the truth. That night, we didn't talk much about it. I didn't ask her how she felt. I just made tea and we watched some baking show on Netflix like it was any other evening. But I could tell something had shifted. 2 weeks later, a package showed up at our door. There was no card, no note, just a box filled with baking supplies, high-end ones, steel cookie cutters, silicone molds, piping tools, natural food coloring, edible gold flakes, even a stand mixer attachment I'd once mentioned offhand in front of Stephanie years ago. It was all new, carefully packed, thoughtfully chosen. I checked the label. The return address was the name of a local baking shop near my parents' neighborhood. Paid in cash. They didn't want credit. They didn't want praise. They just sent it. I still didn't call. 3 days later, my mom did. She asked if she could come by alone, just to drop off a recipe she thought Leia might like. She said she wouldn't stay long, wouldn't come inside if we didn't want her to. I told her she could come by next Sunday. Not because she earned it, not because we forgave them. Because I believe people can choose to do better, but they don't get shortcuts. That weekend, Leia was already in the kitchen, testing out her new supplies. She didn't say much when I told her grandma was stopping by. She just nodded and kept decorating her little pistachio shortbreads. Then she said something that stuck with me. They're probably sorry now, but they weren't sorry when it mattered. I told her she was right. Then she shrugged like an adult who had already figured out something it took me 30 years to learn. Then we don't bake for them, we bake for us. She went back to her cookies. My mom came on Sunday alone, like she said she would. No casserole dish in hand. No bags of food. No overdone dramatics. Just a worn recipe card and a box of candied orange slices. She stood on the porch until I invited her in. Leia stayed in the kitchen, carefully lining cookies on a tray. She didn't look up. My mom glanced around, clearly uncomfortable. She set the card on the counter and said she remembered making those cookies with her own mother. Then she asked if Leia wanted to try them sometime. Leia said she'd think about it. It was quiet for a minute. Then my mom asked if we were really cutting the family off. I told her no. I said we weren't cutting anyone off. We were just done waiting for them to treat us right. From now on, the invitations would go both ways. With the effort, they could be in our lives, but not above it. No more acting like they were doing us favors by tolerating our presence. No more being treated like we were leftovers from my past with Brad. She asked if we were still angry. I said we weren't angry anymore. That part was over. We're just awake now. She looked down at her hands, then said something I didn't expect. She admitted that she never liked Brad, that she thought I'd made a mess by being with him, and she let that bleed into how she treated Leia, that it wasn't fair, and that she wasn't asking to be forgiven right away. She just wanted a chance to do better. That was the most honest thing she'd said in years. I told her we weren't interested in being anyone's second chance project. If she wanted to be in Leia's life, she'd show up for real. Not for holidays, not for guilt, for her. She nodded. When she left, she didn't hug me. She didn't ask to take anything home. She just said thank you. Later that night, Leia asked me if this meant things were better now. I said no. I said it meant the rules were different now. The next few months were quiet. No forced visits, no awkward dinners. But slowly, things started shifting. My dad came by with an old tool set he said Leia might use for cookie presses. Stephanie sent a birthday card that didn't have any backhanded jokes in it. My mom called just to ask about Leia's science fair project. No financial help, no grand gestures. And that was fine. Leia didn't expect them to become perfect. She just wanted them to stop pretending she didn't exist unless she was useful. One night, we were icing lemon cookies, and she looked at me and asked if this was what a real family felt like. I told her no, this was better. Because this family, we built it ourselves, and no one gets to take credit for that. But then, just as we were settling into the new rhythm, something strange happened. In early April, Leia got a letter. Not a card, not a text. A real letter, addressed to her, in handwriting I didn't recognize. She opened it while I was cleaning up dinner. It was from Stephanie's oldest son, Brady, 16. The one who once poured soda on Leia's drawing at Thanksgiving and said it was an accident. The one who barely acknowledged her existence unless it was to make fun of something she was wearing. Inside the envelope was a simple note and a hand-drawn flyer. He was starting a small community project at school, something for volunteer credit, building care packages for local shelters. And he asked if Leia wanted to help with the baked goods. He'd even written that he remembered her cookies from Christmas, which again, no one ate, and thought she'd be really good at it. No sarcasm, no jokes. Just respectful, like he saw her. She didn't say anything right away, just read it twice, then handed it to me without a word. We stared at each other for a moment, both trying to decide if this was real or just another test. She asked if she should do it. I told her I wasn't going to decide for her. The next morning, she told me she'd help on one condition. She wanted Brady to come over and bake with her first, not just dump work on her. She wanted to see if he actually respected her or was just pretending for school credit. I messaged Stephanie to tell her. She didn't say much, just, he'll be there someday. And he was. He showed up with a bag of flour, 2 boxes of brownie mix, and a nervous look I'd never seen on his face before. Laya opened the door, nodded, and led him to the kitchen without a word. They baked for 2 hours. I stayed out of it. When he left, he thanked her. Quiet. No eye contact. But he meant it. That night, she told me something that caught me off guard. He used to be awful, but I think he's trying to be someone else now. I asked if she forgave him. She shrugged. I don't have to. He can still fix things anyway. The project turned out to be real. Laya ended up baking 120 cookies. Brady included her name on the flyer, gave her full credit. At the school event, she even got a certificate from the principal. For the first time in her life, someone from that side of the family treated her like she wasn't a mistake. Not because we demanded it, but because she earned her place and they finally saw it. I realized something in that night, watching her tape the certificate to her wall. Sometimes the best revenge is letting people grow into the respect you always deserved.